It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by AgileDad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. All right, it's time for today's Agile, not so agile episode of the Daily Stand Up Podcast. And I thought I'd share with you another story this week. A lot of people enjoyed the story last week, so I thought I'd give you another one today. This one's called Beyond the Mountain Shadow. And in the quaint town of Luminara, nestled in a valley surrounded by towering peaks, lived a young woman named Clara. From a young age, Clara had always been fascinated by the tallest peak that stood just beyond her town. We'll call it Mount Espara. The mountain was not just a geographical marvel, but it held a deeper significance. Legend said that anyone who climbed it and touched its highest stone would be granted a glimpse of their true potential. Many people tried to scale Mount Espera, but its treacherous paths and unpredictable weather turned most away. They would return speaking of fierce winds and blinding snowstorms or paths that seemed to lead to nowhere. Over time, Mount Espera was seen more as a symbol of insurmountable challenge than a beacon of hope. But Clara, with sparkling eyes full of determination, declared that on her 21st birthday she would climb Mount Espera. She wasn't driven by the fame or the town's admiration. Clara had faced many obstacles in her young life, from the loss of her parents to struggles with self worth and identity. Climbing the mountain was symbolic of her own personal journey. Before her ascent, Clara visited the town's eldest resident, matriarch Eleanor. Known for her wisdom, Eleanor handed Clara a small old compass. "This doesn't point north," she said. "It points to what you seek the most." Clara embarked on her journey the next dawn. As the days passed, the townsfolk would look up at the mountain, speaking in hushed tones, hoping for Clara's safe return. The climb was anything but easy. At times, Clara encountered paths so steep and narrow that she considered turning back. One evening, as she set up camp, a storm rolled in. Fierce and unyielding, her supplies were dwindling, and the cold was biting. But every time she felt like giving up, she would take out Eleanor's compass. Its needle, rather than pointing north, would always align to the mountain's peak, reminding Clara of her true goal. One day, Clara reached a vast chasm with no apparent way to cross. She felt so defeated. But then she remembered all the challenges she faced in her life, the times that she felt lost, and how she had always found a way. She decided to camp there for the night, hoping for inspiration. By morning light, Clara noticed a series of stones partially submerged in water, forming a stepping path across the chasm. She realized that the stones had always been there, but it was only in the light of the new day that she could see them. Gathering her courage, she carefully hopped from one stone to another, reaching the other side with newfound energy. After weeks of climbing, facing tests of both physical endurance and mental strength, Clara could finally see and reach the peak of Mount Espera. There, she found a large, smooth stone embedded in the ground. As she touched it, the world around her seemed to shift. She didn't see visions of grandeur or fame. Instead, she saw herself, not as the world saw her, but as she truly was: resilient, brave, and full of potential. She saw flashes of her past challenges and realized that with each one she had grown stronger, more compassionate, and more understanding. As Clara descended the mountain, the journey was surprisingly swift. With her newfound perspective, obstacles seemed smaller and smaller, and solutions were more evident. When she reached Luminara, she was welcomed as a hero. But more than tales of her adventure, Clara shared stories of introspection, growth, and the realization that sometimes our biggest challenges and fears amplify the power that's within us. The story of Clara's ascent became a beacon of hope for Luminara's residents. They realized that Mount Espera wasn't just about scaling a physical peak, but about understanding one's own strength and full potential. The true journey was within. Years later, a grown up child asked Clara the secret of her success. She smiled, handing her the old compass, and said, "Always remember the journey is as important as the destination. And sometimes the compass you need doesn't point to the world outside, but it points to the world within. Clara's story spread far and wide, not as a tale of conquest, but as a testament to human resilience, the power of self belief, and the magic that unfolds when we confront and overcome our own personal mountains. The reason I chose this story, obviously, has to do with each one of us having challenges and mountains to climb, and each of us facing our own chasms and our own things that we have to do to overcome and to gain strength. But we need to understand that no obstacles ever put in our way that we can't overcome. Obstacles are placed in our path only to make us stronger and to show how we think through overcoming those obstacles. Many times when people apply for jobs, they often say, "Well, I don't have that experience or I don't have that degree." And a lot of times, the school of hard knocks or the obstacles that you overcome are the tools that are absolutely necessary to get you there. Many people, when I talk to them about college, I always say that just proves that you can challenge yourself, that you can do hard things, and that you can think outside the box. And I really do believe that's true. I think that if we all search for our path and if we all stay aligned with the things that we believe in, that over time we'll discover who we really are and that that's going to be the strength and foundation needed for us to have success going forward. That's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you have an amazing weekend. If you have a topic you want us to discuss next week, reach out to us. Learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk again soon.